Hey guys, welcome back to a writing workshop again. Miss Curtis here. This is week 2, lesson 2, and our teaching point for today is that students provide evidence to support their claims by using lists of facts, quotes, and micro stories. I decided to use today's time to go over different types of evidence for opinion essays. Why? Because myself and some of your teachers realized that you guys are kind of stuck on quotes. We can't really blame you though. We've been working really hard for that test prep, and we know we used quotes as evidence to support our claims. But we want to get back into other forms of 4th grade essays. So we're giving the opinion essay another try this week, and I wanted to go over the various types of evidence we could be using because there's a variety. We don't just have to stick to quotes. So yesterday we got a chance to do our whole class discussion. We had the debate question, should Rose Blanche have fed the Jewish children? You could decide yes, she should have fed the Jewish children, or you could have decided no, she should not have fed the Jewish children. We made sure to use our boxes and bullets essay frame, and we also made sure to fill out our whole class discussion. If you haven't, please make sure you go back and do lesson 1 before even watching the rest of this video. You need your essay done so that we can dive into revising. So really quickly, I'm going to go over different types of micro stories, facts, different types of evidence to support our thinking. But let's take a second to always go back to our checklist, our writing checklist, and look over what it says we need to be doing on a 4th grade level. I included examples and information to support my reasons, perhaps from a text, which is what we're working on today, my knowledge, or my life. We want to focus solely on that part where it says perhaps from a text because our claim is coming straight from Rose Blanche. So we know all of the evidence is going to come from the text. Next it says, I made deliberate word choices to convince my readers, perhaps by emphasizing or repeating words that would make my readers feel emotions. So I know that I want to go in and use precise words to convince my reader that the debate side that I chose is the right one. So first we have facts, which is really a list of 3 facts. So some teachers call it a list. I like to call it a list of facts. This should be something true from the text, okay? And that's facts. That's evidence based in the text. Then we have a micro story, which is a part of the story summarized into a story, kind of like a tiny story, a little summary of a certain part of the Rose Blanche text. From our narrative unit, we know that stories need action, dialogue, inner thinking, and description. So writing a micro story as evidence, we need to keep in mind all of the great work we did in our narrative unit in the beginning of the year. Then our last one is quotes, which is really some of our research. We've been working on quotes for the last 6 weeks of test prep. It shouldn't be a problem. You find specific quotes from the text to support your reason. Easy peasy. You guys are all pros at that by now. So what I did right here is I have a sample body paragraph. I have my thesis, which is clearly stated. No, Rose should not have fed the Jewish children. So I chose a side, right? Then I have my reason number 1. Rose should not have fed the Jewish children. We know we have to repeat our thesis when diving into reason number 1, 2, or 3, because she had to deal with the negative effects of helping them. So here's my evidence number 1. I chose to use a list of facts. I went into the text. I found parts of the text that negatively affected Rose from what of the different ways that she was negatively affected from feeding the Jewish children. First, Rose was getting thinner. We know she was giving all her food away. She had to lie to her mother because she was taking the food. She was telling her mother she was eating all of it. And she was stealing from her own home. It says that she was going into the basement and taking all of the butter and breads. So I had a list of 3 things that were negatively affecting Rose from feeding the Jewish children directly. Then for evidence 2, I chose quotes. Rose also ended up missing school. In the text, it stated, so here's my quote, guys. You guys are pros at this. Rose Blanche hid her food in her school bag and sneaked out of school early. She had to miss school just to make sure that she was going back to feed the Jewish children that were hungry. So here's my thesis, my reason one, my evidence number one, and my evidence number two to support reason number one. And I took all of these pieces and added them together to get my body paragraph number one. Here's my example, all pieced together now. No, Rose should not have fed the Jewish children. Rose should not have fed the Jewish children because she had to deal with the negative effects of helping them. Rose was getting thinner, she had to lie to her mother, and she was stealing from her own home. Rose also ended up missing school. In the text, it stated, there's those transition words, guys. Rose Blanche hid her food in her school bag and sneaked out of school early. This is a sample of a perfect body paragraph. I would do the exact same thing again for body paragraph 2 and 3. I'd have my reason number 2 and 3. I would find two pieces of evidence using a variety of types of evidence, a fact and a quote, a micro story and a fact, right? And then I would piece them together for my 3 body paragraphs. Okay, so this is a perfect example of what each of your body paragraphs should look like. They should restate your claim. They should have your reason. They should have your 2 pieces of evidence, making sure to use a variety of types of evidence. So let's take a second really quickly and go over the teaching point and see what we need to do to dive into lesson number 2 for this week. Teaching point today, again, students provide evidence to support their claims by using lists of facts, quotes, and microstories, which we've all gone over today. What are we trying to achieve? We want to revise the types of evidence we use in our opinion essays yesterday. We want to make sure to have a variety of types of evidence for each reason, not just one type, guys. How are we successful today? We need to reread our flash draft essay from week 2, lesson 1. Make sure we're not starting a new document. We're going back into that essay and diving into revising our essay from yesterday. You do not need a new document. Make sure you have 2 types of evidence to support each reason. If not, you have to go back and scan the text for more evidence. We want to watch the video that I've attached to this lesson of students revising their own work, just to remind you again what it means to revise. Begin revising your essay, making sure to use your tool. I've got a copy that I'm attaching of our types of evidence for opinion essays tool. I've got examples of all 3, as well as part of the checklist for you guys to use. Okay? When you are done, make sure to click Turn In at the top right corner for your teachers to see your work. We can't see the work without it. Stepping up the rigor, you want to make sure that you used a mix of microstories, lists, and research. You want to make sure that you hook the reader at the beginning. And you also want to make sure to give a call to action at the end of the essay. Last but not least, did you use a variety of transition words in your essay? All right, guys, so that sums it up for today. I know you can do it. I'm dying to see all your heavy revising and all of the variety of types of evidence in your essays from yesterday. Good luck, guys.